What's up, everyone? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. So we're back to the TVs again. This is done by request. People have been asking me, hey, I have Sony X900e, I have 930e, I got 900F. What would be your recommended picture setting for the Sony? What picture settings would you recommend? So what I'm going to do here in 10 minutes, I'm going to give you my picture settings for the movies, for 4K UHD Blu-ray movies. Remember, this video, it's only for 4K UHD Blu-ray movies. It's not a universal picture settings. It's only going to be for the movies. And what you're seeing here, it's Thor Ragnarok, which I really like. It's a Disney movie and Marvel Disney movie. And as you can see, it's being presented in full screen. I am doing full screen for the demo presentation of this video. I'm not doing full screen trying to tell you that you should watch it like this. You shouldn't watch the movie in full screen. You should watch the movie in its original widescreen ratio. So please, guys, don't waste your time typing down in the comment section telling me why is it full screen. I already told you why it's in full screen. And if you ask me that, I will just simply block you, and that's that. Now, let's continue. I only have 8 minutes left. Let me show you my picture settings on Sony X900e for 4K UHD movies only. And yes, I am using Oppo UDP 203 4K player. It's one of the best 4K players on the planet. I don't care what anybody says. End of story. Let's move on. Now, I'm only using a animation picture mode as a reference. It could be any of the modes because you're going to be custom adjusting these settings anyway, so it doesn't really matter which picture mode you chose. I'm just using animation mode, just something so I can remember where I have custom adjusted these picture settings. Remember, this is only for 4K UHD Blu-ray movies. So first thing first, let's go to the brightness. Brightness has to be set to maximum because we are using HDR here, so our peak brightness of lumens light needs to be set to the maximum. Color, it's set to 50 because we are going to be watching movies on 4K UHD Blu-ray. Therefore, we don't want to oversaturate anything. Okay, we don't want to watch Thanos to be like overbleeding purple guy or whatever. Okay, when the movie comes out next week, we want to make sure that our color is left at default 50. The movie and the HDR will enhance that color the way filmmaker intended. Leave it at 50. Moving on to the advanced settings. Advanced settings, this is where all the magic happens. Brightness, lumens brightness of backlit light has to be set to maximum. Contrast has to be set to maximum so that you can get the best of that peak brightness that high dynamic range gives out on its contrast level of white bright levels, okay, and deep dark digital levels. Gamma, you don't want to ever listen to my voice. Never, ever, ever, never in your entire life, don't you ever, never, ever touch that gamma when you're watching HDR. Otherwise, you'll be destroying and eliminating your deep, dark levels. Never, ever touch that. End of story. I don't care what anybody says. Speaking of black levels, leave the black levels at 50. Why at 50? Because we don't want to crush our deep dark levels. The HDR will do the trick. So don't worry about it. Besides, down here, we're going to be using the X1 processing chip that comes in with all the filters and all the goodies. Black adjustments, you can leave it at high because you already left your black levels at 50. Advanced contrast enhancer, you can leave it at high so you can take even more advantage of your HDR. Local dimming, you want to set it to high because you want to make sure that you avoid any bending light. You want to make sure that you have a really good deep dark levels here. And extended dynamic range, you want to use it high to make sure that you have the best possible contrast ratio. Moving on. Color, like I said, 50. Leave it at 50. Hue, you never mess with this ever, ever, never, never, ever. I don't care what anybody says. You leave that sucker alone. Color temperature, expert 1. Why expert 1? Well, because we're watching 4K UHD Blu-ray movies. So we want to make sure we keep that color balance between cold blue and yellow warm. Color temperature expert 1, it's the most recommended temperature for the movies. And if you don't believe me, you can do some research and you will find exactly that. Don't mess with the advanced color temperature unless you have a professional calibrator with professional calibrating equipment to do this for you. This could take up to 3 hours. Otherwise, you're going to mess up your picture quality forever. Moving on. Live color, it's something similar to what NBP photon technology is using. It's something similar to what quantum dot technology is using on Samsung, and also TCL NBP photon technology is using on TCL. This is a Sony's answer to enhancing the color gamut. Live color enhances a colors, more vibrant colors. So the HDR with the live color high will be even more vibrant. So when you're watching Thanos crushing through the Avengers on the 4K UHD Blu-ray disc on your television, it's going to look marvelous. Leave the live color at high. Moving on. Next. Sharpness for clarity. Keep it at 53 because this is a 55-inch and you're going to be watching movies. The reason I say keep it at 53 here because you're going to be using reality creation filter, which adjusts any types of digital sharpness or any type of noise out there that might be showing on a movie. It's going to reduce it. Therefore, you can keep the sharpness at 53 here. It's going to be fine. Random noise reduction, keep it on automatic. Digital noise reduction, keep it on automatic. And smooth gradation, keep it on high. All of these filters are part of the X1 processing chip that enhances a much better noise reduction on your digital sharp levels. So you can keep sharpness at 53 here. That is fine. Moving on. Motion flow. Even though motion flow looks good here on Sony X1 processing chip, I would only recommend motion flow if you're watching sports. NBA, NFL, soccer, UFC, boxing, hockey. If you're watching sports, you can use the motion flow. For the movies, for the love of God, why would you use the motion flow? If a movie director walks into your home and he sees that you're watching his movie with motion flow, he's going to smack you. Literally, he's going to smack you. Leave the stupid motion flow off for the movies. They're not filmed in 60 frames per second. You don't need that motion flow in the movies. Leave that sucker alone. For the love of God, leave it alone. And at last, video option, keep everything at automatic. From HDR mode to HDMI, video range, to color space, keep everything on automatic. Everything should be set on automatic. Well, there you have it. Hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully you appreciate it. And I hope that you guys write these settings down. Make sure you rewind the video from YouTube or keep it on the loop and make sure you write these settings down. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate it. There you have it. These are the settings for 4K UHD Blu-ray movies on X900e. I'll leave you here with Rangrook. Enjoy it.